Hey there, Sarah here. I'm just recording a super quick intro for this podcast episode. In the description, you should find a link to a survey, which is the Thermal Talk 2020 survey. We've really enjoyed creating this podcast for you guys over the last 12 months, and we hope to continue making awesome podcasts for you in 2021. For that though, we want a little bit of help from you, and any feedback you can provide, we would really appreciate. The survey shouldn't take any longer than maybe 5 or 10 minutes to fill out, and your responses will be really useful in us making good content going forward. I really appreciate any of you who decide to go fill it out for us, and thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the episode. Excellent. Has everyone done the homework this week, or are we improvising again?
I did the homework 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I had a rough look at it last night when you messaged me.
Well, you know, it still counts.
Yeah, I've read a bit.
Jillian did not.
I feel like
I've been so busy.
I feel like when we started the podcast, everyone was like really like, "Oh my god, yes, I'll have to read up. I'll read up." And now we've got to this point where we're like almost 30 episodes, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. I know things.
I'll read the article as Sarah introduces it,
and then I'll have time.
And then I'll be an expert. Yep.
That's it. That's right. Well, there you go. Well, you've only got 2 little short articles today, so you know, pressure's on.
All
right. Let's jump right into it, I reckon, everyone.
I
Heard that, but a train outside my place just went, so I'll take that as a yes.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought
It
it
was a train, yeah. All right. Hello and welcome to Thermal Talk, the official Thermal Tech Australia podcast. On today's spooky podcast, we'll be discussing whether streamers and content creators should pay for the games that they broadcast. We'll recommend some spooky games to play this Halloween, and we're going to debate whether keeping a new mode in the upcoming COD game a PlayStation exclusive is a bit of a dick move. As always, you're joined by me, your host, Sarah, and today I'm also joined by...
Justin.
Nick.
Me, Jill.
Me. My name is me now. I am everyone. I am me. I should mention though that if you are hoping for Halloween game suggestions, this will go up on video a week after Halloween. So it will miss Halloween. But, you know, audio people, you'll be fine. But, you know, you can play spooky games whenever you want. Don't just have to do it on Halloween. You can just... If you want to be spooky, just be spooky. So, but this is meant to be spooky themed. As you can see, we've all dressed up. We're looking great. We're looking very spooky.
I'm so spooky.
Thank you.
I don't even have anything that could be remotely spooky right now.
I mean, it shows how much in Australia we still don't do Halloween. We really don't.
No.
Are you guys pro Halloween or not into it? You don't like it, not a fan? Because people don't have opinions one way or the other.
I don't care, just don't knock on my door.
Just don't talk to me and I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, like my front light's not on. There's nothing like showing that I celebrate this at all. So don't walk up my driveway and knock on my door.
As a general rule, not just for Halloween, just ever. Just never knock on
do it.
Yeah. If you're not Ozpol, to go away.
Don't care.
I'm not that much either. I don't know. I've never been, I don't think. Only if there's been like, I don't know, like a party or something I've gone to when I was young. That's about it.
See, we never went to like Halloween parties, never did trick-or-treating or anything like that. Like Halloween was just like a non-event, like as I was growing up.
Yeah. Only time that I like actually kind of did something was when my niece was very young and their local park had a kids Halloween thing. So all the kids dressed up.
Oh, that's cute.
And we went there and that was cute. They had some games and stuff. That's
cute. I think the biggest issue with Halloween here in Australia, in my opinion, has always been the fact that like Halloween happens for us in spring. So it's like still daylight. Like it's still daylight until like 9:30, and so like kids can't really go do trick or treating at like 9:30. So what you do is when you see someone who does do trick or treating, it's just a kid wearing a sheet walking around in broad daylight, and you're like, this it just doesn't have the same feeling as like it would if it was dark and it was nighttime.
I think everyone's I think everyone's like kind of just latch onto the fact that it is just a giant like consumerism like holiday at that point. Like Christmas and Easter, like yes, also very consumerism, but at least there's some sort of like family event around that where like people get together, like family you haven't seen like all year, you would still meet up and at least like have lunch or dinner or something like that. Halloween is nothing. It's just like, all right, let's just go out and buy like lollies, which I can do that any weekend. Like, so why?
I do that every weekend, so I don't
Yeah,
know
it's like
about you.
what does it matter that it's Halloween? You know, like.
I think I actually learned a couple weeks ago that I think Halloween is actually an Irish holiday, like originally.
Irish or Scottish?
Yeah,
I know it's like
I
a
was
Celtic
like,
thing.
I never knew that. But then America took it and just went freaking ham with it, and it's kind of more their thing now. But I was like, there you go. I didn't know that, so I was impressed. Justin, have you like darkened your space to try and like suit the mood, or
I don't know why. It like my camera, like I'll adjust it before the podcast, and then we start the podcast, and I'm like glowing, and then I just turned the game down like 5 minutes ago to what I thought was suitable, and now it's dark again. So I don't really know what fruitcake's going on, but I've got the gauge on the other screen, so I can change it on the fly.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that when we all join this Discord call, we have white background, so your monitor gets a hell of a lot brighter?
No, because I've got a white screen on the other side to give myself some more light.
Okay.
But
well, then your computer's broken.
Just tell me if I get dark, all right? Or if I get too bright.
It's part of the whole spooky thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the spooky thing. It's fine.
Cool. Okay,
just like lean into it is what. Yeah, there you go. Spooky Justin is spooky now. Oh look! Oh, all the spooks.
Now take a nap and they'll never know.
I can't even see.
Yeah, you just like disappeared. That's actually kind of scary. Well, we're all having nightmares tonight.
Yep, that's for sure.
It's okay. Creepy Justin can't hurt you. Creepy Justin.
Get away. He lives closer to me.
It's just me.
Okay. Oh, normal Justin's back. It's fine. It's all good. We're safe. We're safe now. Did you find your answer, Nick?
Oh yeah, it's like Scottish and Irish.
There you go. Yes.
Just like that region of the world.
Just that area, yes.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. There you go. Educational.
Mm-hmm.
Right, cool. Cool. Well, I guess we'll just jump straight into the episode. So first thing I wanted to talk about this week was some very interesting comments. So the Google Stadia, I don't know if he's the only director. I got very confused. Basically, Google Stadia director came out saying that they feel, well, I'll read the exact tweet for everybody. The real truth is the streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use. And that is from, Google Stadia director Alex Hutchinson. So yes, so that is, he's the creative director of a studio, not overall. That being said, though, a lot of people were kind of mad about this. I was reading a few responses to it, and a lot of people kind of feel like it's it's a very strange thing to ask when the sort of, like, the amount of games that have grown in popularity from exposure from streamers and content creators is crazy. A great example is Among Us. That game released last year, in 2019. I think it was like August or something. And it is now the most popular game really going around. And it's solely kind of happened because one or two streamers, I'm pretty sure, started playing it. And then everyone's playing it. And now it's everywhere. In this guy's eyes, streamers, there should be an additional license for streaming games. And I've heard a few people come up with this in the past. Basically, people saying that, when you buy a game, you've purchased the right to play the game, but you haven't really purchased the right to share it with anybody else. Because you could argue that someone could watch the whole game and then not buy it. And then the game's losing out on the money because, well, I'm not going to watch... I guess to use my own self as an example, I've watched a full gameplay of The Last of Us 2. And I decided I didn't want to buy it because I wasn't really interested after watching it. But then in contrast, I watched the full play of The Last of Us, the first one, and I loved it so much that I watched it, that I went out and bought it and played it. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, I guess they lost a bit of money because I didn't end up buying the game from that. So I guess the argument is that people could watch the whole game, be streams, and go, I'm not going to get much for buying it now, and they're losing out on money. So this is the idea that streamers and content creators should have to buy an additional license on top of the game in order to broadcast it. Similar to how now streamers are being told they have to purchase licenses or use royalty-free music because they can't use music they don't own in their streams. That includes in-game radio. So in GTA, you've got to turn your radio off unless you own, if you're streaming that, unless you own that music. That's how harsh they're, going down on people now on stream.
Sorry, speaking of the GTA thing, there was a patch that came out for one of the Grand Theft Autos a while back. I don't remember which one it was because it was so long ago. But they actually took some of the music out of the song, like off the radio in game. And the whole reason was because the license that the studio had for that song had expired, so they had to take it out of the game.
Yeah, that happens a lot. There's lots of songs where I started playing GTA 5 when it first came out, and there's so many songs that were there then that aren't there now, and things like that. Because licenses, they expire. And sometimes they don't want to renew them. So things like DMCA takedowns are happening all over Twitch right now, especially for clips, which are ridiculous in my opinion. But anyway, so I wanted to hear what you guys thought about this idea. I mean, none of you guys are really content creators. I mean, we wish Alex was here for this because he would have been really interesting to hear his opinion of. But what do you guys feel about this kind of stuff? Do you think this is a fair statement? Like, a lot of people didn't agree with what this guy had to say, but is there some merit to it? Like I said, companies are losing out on potential revenue because people are watching people play it instead of buying it themselves. So do you think streamers and content creators should have to give something extra in order to broadcast this content? Or do you think this is stupid?
I think your story is interesting because I didn't even think of that. I read this and I was like, this is stupid. Like, it wouldn't work. But the fact that you said like you decided not to buy Last of Us because you watched it, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because like I'll watch like story playthroughs of games because I want to know the story, but don't want to play the game. And obviously, like technically, they're losing money from me doing that as well because So I don't know. It's more complex than I thought it was. I think me and Nick had a quick discussion about this at work, so I'll let him.
Thanks.
It looks like he's itching to say stuff. So.
Thanks, mate.
Expectations.
Throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so technically, if we go by the same rules that other companies or people have to play with music or movies, then yes, they should require a license. They are essentially taking someone else's like created work and making a profit off of it when they haven't really like created it. You could argue that they're creating like their own Twitch stream video, that's fine, but they didn't create the game in the same way that like, you walk into a department store and they're playing music. They didn't play that music, but they're using it to help make a profit. And then you could also come at it with Sarah's point of view that if you watch a single player playthrough of a game, then you go, I don't need to buy the game now because I've seen someone else play it. I know the story. There's no point in me buying it. But then at the same time, there are other games where you watch someone do like a playthrough of it and then you go, that looked really good. Now I want to go play it. So it's like which one has the higher percentage of, or which one is more likely to occur, not buying it or buying it. I mean, I don't know the numbers behind that. I doubt anyone really knows at this point. Probably needs pretty in-depth study. I don't know. It's complicated. I'd say no. They shouldn't need a license. But that's not really based on any evidence. That's kind of just like my feeling. Sort of, that's the heart talking, not the brain. So I don't know. This is actually kind of complicated.
I stumped you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We've done it.
I mean, I could take like a dig and just be like, well, because this guy works for like Stadia, he doesn't know what he's going about.
I mean, there's that too.
Stadia is such a success that this guy definitely, he has his finger on the pulse.
Stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. The music thing, of course, there's laws already about that where, like, if someone's playing music, like, it gets taken down. But obviously laws haven't caught up in terms of streaming video games yet, which is fine. If you're on Twitch, you've probably got about like 2 or 3 decades before that catches up, so you're good in that regard. But yeah, personally, I'd say no. But like, whether that's based on any hard facts is, it's not. It's just my opinion.
I'm probably in the same boat. I don't know, because then like if they did do this, if they did make people pay for playing it, would that then defer them actually playing games anymore?
Yeah.
And other people, like, would it still have a negative effect in the end? Would it stop people actually playing, and then that will again make game developers lose money in the end? Like, I don't know what the pros and cons of it would be, really.
I mean, you could also come at it from the point where companies are they're paying people to play and stream their games.
Yeah.
So why would a company pay someone to stream their game? Because obviously they know that it's like a form of marketing and that people might buy the game, if they see someone else play it. So they're okay with only a few people playing and streaming it, or they can control like how many people are streaming it and like the amount of the game they get streamed, so that people will just go buy the game because they can't see it anymore. Like, that's probably what they're okay with, but they're probably not okay with having, an infinite number of people stream the game for as long as possible and then losing out on sales.
Yeah, but then like, if I don't get it. So, say a game developer wants to promote the game, so they contact a Twitch streamer, give them a free code, they play the game, but they don't actually play this type of game. Like, if they don't really like this kind of genre, whatever it is.
Yeah, then it's like negative because the streamer's going to have, like, they're going to complain about the game because they don't play this type of game ever.
Yeah, and then what, they're going to have to pay extra for them actually showing it on Twitch? Like, then that's like an issue there too. In the end, if they're worried about people watch, like what Sarah and Justin saying, like you watch the whole gameplay and you think it's crap, and then you don't want to buy it, then make the game good.
I don't know if it's so much that like
shots fired.
I don't know if it's so much that someone watches the game and just goes, "Oh, that's crap. Now I don't want to play it." It's more because it's a single player game and it's like going through a story and like that sort of thing. If you watch someone else play the entire game and now you know the entire story, why would you then go play the game?
Yeah.
That's how I was.
I guess it's probably the type of game as well. So something like God of War has a story.
Yeah.
But the whole point of God of War is like it's like, yeah, there's a story, cool, but the whole point of God of War is you just want to you want to kill things. So even if like you know what's basically going to happen at the end, you know that you're going to fight a big boss and you're going to kill him, that's fine. You don't really care so much about that. It's just about the process of killing things. So you'll probably play that. So I don't know. But yeah, just make better games, guys. That's it.
That's all we have to say. That's all our advice.
Problem solved, Mr. Stadia.
Yeah, it is. I find it such a fascinating thing because as we pointed out, you can't sit there and stream an entire film on Twitch and comment over it. Like, you're legally not allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's it. It hasn't stopped people, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah, people still do it, but it's more of a case of like that's you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to play the songs, and so it does come down to this thing. There's a kind of weird grey area that the games have where it's like, because at the end of the day, like every person who plays a game is going to play a game differently than the next person. Like, even if it's the exact same game, like someone might be a better shot, so they'll go in, run and gun. Someone might play the game more stealthily, and then that's a very different experience. And so it's a case of like, there is a certain amount of individualism that you bring to a game that you can't really bring to film or TV or music, because that's already there. It's already existing in its form and you can't really change it. Whereas with games, each experience and each playthrough you have, you can really change, and so it comes down to that factor of like, there is that level of individualism that you bring to a gameplay experience that people would enjoy. Like you might watch a streamer play through a game because you like the streamer. You might not just watch the game as it is. And then it comes down to that idea of like profit versus loss. Like, are they gaining more? Like in the case of Among Us, I think Among Us has gained so much from the exposure it got from streams and stuff. But
it's like congratulations, you made like $1,000 from people who are streaming the game, but because not a lot of people watching those streams, like you actually have less customers overall. So overall, you've made less money, even though you've charged streamers to stream the game.
I mean, considering the game's only like $8 and it's also free on some devices, I don't know if I feel like whatever they've earned, they've probably done more.
Oh, I was just talking like in a general thing, like
yeah,
if a game studio was like, "Hey, we're going to charge you for streaming our game," it's like, okay, so enough streamers paid you to like where you made X amount of money.
Yeah.
But you limited the amount of people actually streaming this, therefore watching it. So how much did you like reduce your customer base by?
Yeah.
And then did you make money or did you lose money? I want to know. Could you then apply this also to board games? Like, let's say, you want to stream like someone playing Monopoly. It's like, well, you didn't make that board game, so do you have rights to stream it?
Should everyone own a copy of Monopoly in order to join in for Monopoly?
Well, no, you only bought a copy of Monopoly. You didn't buy a license to stream Monopoly.
That's right. Didn't buy a license.
You bought the physical copy of it, but you don't have a license to stream Monopoly, so can you?
Yeah, and I mean, I think the worst... I don't know what the answer is, but I do think introducing stuff like licenses to stream or licenses to reproduce the content, in gameplay, I think that would be the most colossal bad move, though. Not because I think it's like a dick move, but more of a case of I think that anyone who's a YouTuber, if you do gameplay, it's harder. There's more work you have to put in, like you have to record the gameplay, sync it all up, edit it up. Yeah. That takes longer. And if you look at someone like PewDiePie, who's gone from doing solely gameplay to just sitting on his floor reacting to memes, he does that because he gets the same views or if not more views, and it's like he can pump those out daily because they're not hard. Like there's not like it requires as much as gaming does. So I feel like you're just going to lose anyone who does video starters.
Yeah. I mean, it's like any sort of like, I don't know, price tag they put on streamers, obviously then they'll extend towards people who play the game on YouTube as well, because in their mind they're going to say it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And you think of a game like Minecraft, which is like just absolutely huge. Like the amount of money that stuff is bought in is astronomical, and that basically like made its beginnings on YouTube. Like people didn't play it on YouTube. Like no one would be playing that game. It'd probably still be some like little side project on one guy's hard drive.
Yeah, there's that too.
So,
yeah, that's exactly the same. Like if they were to bring this out, games like those won't
like indie
popular.
Games and stuff wouldn't stand a chance. Like they would be the main ones to suffer.
They'd get utterly destroyed.
Yeah, 100%. And so it's easy from someone who works from freaking Google to sit there and be like, you should challenge people.
It's fine. He'll be out of a job in a couple of years. Google will cancel Stadia.
Yeah, that's
and then he'll be like, crap, I need money. And then he'll be like, maybe I'll be a Twitch streamer.
How the turntables.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction, at least.
There you go. Next prediction. We'll see if it pays off. Like this
guy will be homeless in 3 years.
We've called it. We've called it here first. Julian, you're like, oh.
So bad.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Alrighty. Cool. Well, that's our consensus. That's our call. We've laid our bets down. There we go. Alrighty, well, let's jump on to our second conversation of the day. And today I want to talk a little bit about spooky games, because this is meant to be a Halloween themed episode. My original plan was we were going to be back in the office by now, and I was going to bring in a box of dress ups because I have way too many dress ups, and we were all going to pick a costume and it was going to be great, but that didn't happen. So thank you, Roni. Appreciate you for ruining everything. So instead, what I thought I would do is maybe we could just chat about some of our favorite horror games or spooky games, and maybe make some recommendations for this year if anyone watching wants something to scare them that they haven't heard of before. I feel like with horror games, they tend to be like I tend to find that like I stumble upon them. I never really go looking for them. I just find them. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of them come from word of mouth. You just hear someone else say this game was scary and then you try it. So yeah, I just thought I'd talk. So do you guys like horror as a genre, or is it just me?
Sorry, it's just like when you said you just hear about a game that's scary and you go look for it.
Yeah,
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
That's my worst nightmare.
Yeah. Same as scary movies. Like I can watch certain thriller like kind of movies, but I just can't. I'm
Just
just I'm a pussy. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played like a horror game.
Have you
Like, never.
watched one?
You kidding?
Have I watched a horror game? Like,
I
no,
find
not
watching them
really.
easier because you're not actually the one doing the moving.
Yeah, the shock horror value is
Yeah.
less. No, like I can't say that I really have. Like, no.
Wow.
Like, like I don't know. Do you count like Resident Evil as a horror game? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
they are.
really.
They're horror games.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even play that.
I've tried to play Resident Evil. The only reason I stopped is because the controls were utter garbage. But like that, I wouldn't really consider a horror game. That's probably like the furthest I've gone though in watching or playing one. Like,
Were they the OG ones or the
Nah,
later
this was
ones?
I don't know. This was whatever was on PS3. I'll Google it.
I've actually never played a Resident Evil game, so yeah, I probably should. I kind of think the
Number
newest
5.
one,
That's what it was.
Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
I think the
Anyway.
newest one would be good, but I haven't got around to it. I should.
Don't play it. Horror movies don't really go out of way to watch it. I don't find jump scare movies all that entertaining.
I don't either.
So it's like I'm not gonna watch it because that's just like a waste of my time. I'd rather watch like a bad movie that I'll enjoy than a bad movie I'll just hate.
That's fair.
Yeah, and then like if it's good horror, it's like, well, I don't want to be scared. That's a bad emotion. That's a bad emotion. I don't want that.
Fair
So
enough.
I don't do it.
Do not
Yeah,
partake.
Same. Here and there. I've probably watched Resident Evil gameplay, and that was like struggling. I think Taylor was playing it one time. And
Yep. That was my first time watching a Resident Evil game too.
I've watched a couple of people, like very little, play that new one, the Fast Move. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to say it either. It's like I have no idea.
Yeah, I've watched people play that, and then I'm just like too scared to continue. Even
Wow.
even what's that game?
I find that one pretty tame. It just sounds more silly than scary for me every time I've watched it.
Even that game that came out last year, far out, what was it called? I was scared of that too. One where you're in another world and if it rains on you, you die.
All right, time to Google this, Julian.
If
From
it
the
rains on you, you die.
I'm probably like way off. I'm
It's
sorry.
just completely
Oh,
different.
with the baby. He's carrying the baby.
Oh,
incubator.
you mean like
Oh, you
the walking
Yeah, dude.
simulator?
Death Stranding.
Yeah,
Death Stranding, yes. Even that
You
scared
were
me.
scared of Death Stranding. Interesting.
Yes. There's bloody ghosty things that was popping up everywhere. It was scaring me. But I like it. I like that kind of thing. Like I'll
Yeah.
still watch it because it's just, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yes.
But- Even that scares me.
Wow.
there you go. Back in the day when I was working at EB Games and I actually used to play more than like one game, I played a few.
Excellent.
Dead Space. Dead
Oh,
Space
yes.
1 was very, very good. I found Dead Space 1 like quite scary. I did find the sequels weren't as scary. Maybe it was just because I was used to it by then. But they're all good games. All three of them are like solid games, you know, apart from being scary. Another good one, which is actually on sale right now, I just double checked,
On sale.
is the Amnesia series.
Ah,
on PC.
yes. Yes.
So The Dark Descent, A Machine for Pigs.
Okay.
A
I
Machine
would-
for Pigs was actually free the other week.
Oh, I wouldn't recommend any of those, Julian. They are. You are gonna pee yourself if you try
Right.
any
Yeah.
of those. None of
I
the
think that's,
Amnesia ones. Don't touch them.
Is that PewDiePie? PewDiePie got famous with Amnesia?
I think he did. Yeah, the Dark Descent, I reckon, was his like
Hmm.
big break game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so that's that one. And I mean, everyone probably knows Slender Man.
I've never
Yeah.
actually played it, but yes.
So I played that. It wasn't scary. I just thought it was like stupid.
Nothing scares Nick.
No.
Oh,
The
that
leaks
is
in
that's
Water
definitely not
PCs.
true.
And it's
Many
funny
others.
because when I was young, I used to love scaring people, but I don't like scary movies.
Yeah, that's fine. That's because you're not getting scared. Like
Yeah,
you're
you're the
inflicting
aggressor.
pain. Yeah, you're inflicting the pain on someone else. So you're
Exactly.
like, haha, this is funny. But now when someone does it to you, it's like, what the?
How dare you?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Love it.
Wait, you, Sarah, you haven't given
Well,
us your opinion yet.
I quite like a good horror game. I don't like jump scare games because I find them cheap. Like, I
Yeah.
just get angry with them. Like, I remember Five Nights at Freddy's. Did you guys ever see that game when that was just took over everything? And
Is it
I just
really a
remember being
horror?
like, sorry?
Is that really a horror though? It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's considered,
Something just pops out and goes like, ah!
I mean, yeah, that's considered horror, I'm afraid. And yeah, I mean, the concept, like, when you actually look into the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, is actually, it is quite creepy. But, like, you do have to go kind of looking for it.
Yeah, that's like, but is it in the game?
Yeah. Because what happens is that when they jump out and scare you, they, like, grab you and they, like, stuff you into a suit, which kills you. Because they think that you are one of them, but you're out of your suit. So they're like, we've got to get them back in the suit. So they, like, grab you and, like, force you back into the suit, which, like, I think it, like, kills you in some way, like, rips off your skin or something gross. So,
Fair enough.
So it does have, like, a really, it's so much lore in that game, too, which is just insane. Because
I feel like Game Theory got famous through that.
Probably,
do you guys know Game Theory?
to be honest.
Like, he had so many videos on it, like all the lore behind it.
There is so much lore behind it, which is, surprising considering the concept of it's pretty basic, at least the first one. There's like freaking like 9 of those games now as well. It's insane.
Another game that got big because of streamers, by the way.
That
or
is
by
very
YouTube
true.
people.
Another game. That's very true, actually, yeah, because that's how I heard about that game. People playing them. So, yeah, good point. Bringing it back, linking it all in. Appreciate that. So no, I don't love jump scary games, but I think my favorite horror game, and I think, Julian, you wouldn't mind this, even though it is horror. It's a game called Condemned Criminal Origins, and it's kind of an older game. I think it came out in like 2003 or 4, and it's like a detective game, but there's like bits of horror in it. There's only one level that I would consider to be really scary, which has actually caused me, because I played this game the first time when I was like 9 or something, and it has given me a slight phobia of mannequins because you go into this like abandoned mall, and in true Doctor Who style, the mannequins will follow you when you turn around. And this was predating Doctor Who too, so I'm calling you out, Stephen Moffat. You stole this idea, but so these
an original hack.
The mannequins would so you turn around and they'd be like all around you, but then and they'd stop, and it was a really creepy level. It's a great game though. It's really cool. You're like an investigator, and you blue light, UV light things and collect evidence, and it's a really cool game, really cool story. It's not scary, but there's elements of scariness to it. But I recommend this game to anyone because it's so underrated. It's so painful. It's one of those games where you find it and you're like, this is so good. Why is not everyone talking about this game? And then there's a sequel to it as well, which wasn't as good, but it's still cool. So that's my favorite horror game. And if you haven't played it, go play it. It's good. Especially that freaking mannequin level.
Yeah, but it's $19 on Steam. So
it sometimes goes on sale for quite a bit. I remember, I think I recommended it. I think Taylor mentioned it once, ages ago. And I was like, oh, I love that game. And I was talking about it. And then I think he got it for like $3 or something. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy it from a key site for like $4.
Yeah, just chuck it on the wish list and it'll go on sale one day. But yeah, it's a really great game. It's a good balance of like, because I like horror that's a bit more psychological and a bit more, I don't know, more ingrained in the story and the world versus just cheap jump scares or like, I think my least favorite type of horror is gory horror. Because it just feels so cheap. It's like, oh, it's scary to watch this person be torn apart. I'm like, no shit. Like, of course.
But it's really not.
Well, yeah, like it's preying on such a like a basic human emotion of like most people don't like looking at other people getting hurt. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I just find it very cheap. I prefer horror that has a bit more nuance and more layers to it, and that can scare you without trying. And that's what I feel like Condemned does, especially that bloody shopping mall level. So yeah. And then I also watched what was it called? I watched this random game the other day. It's called Pacify. And so I think it's an indie game, and there's only 2 levels so far. But the concept was really interesting. It was a little jump scary, but you did have to do, like, the story was that you're like this, you're like a member of this like paranormal investigation group, and you go to investigate things, and each level you're investigating a different thing. And there's one level where you're investigating this like haunted old mansion, and there's these little dolls everywhere, and like there's this demon thing who the only way you can stop it from like killing you is you have to give it one of the dolls. But then there are these demon dolls, and you have to burn those dolls to try. It's basically like very cheap, but I loved the concept, and there was kind of like, I don't know. And then there's this other level where there were these creepy cannibal people. It was interesting, but there was elements of kind of like you had to work out how to defeat them, and there wasn't really a lot of clues. We had to piece together what was there, and I don't know. I just like stories that make you horror that makes you work for it instead of ones that just kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's, where the horror is just like kind of, I don't know. It's like just there. So I'm trying to think of what else I would recommend at the moment, because they're the 2 that come to mind. That Phasmophobia, however, that looks really interesting. I can't remember. I don't know how to say it. It's really popular right now on streaming stuff. Once again, another game that has got popular from content creators.
Yeah.
But that looks really cool because it's co-op. And I was looking into doing for our community game night, I was looking at getting a co-op horror game, and I couldn't find bloody any. And then this game came up, and I was like, oh, where were you like 2 weeks ago? Probably still there, I just didn't know about it. But yeah, like a co-op horror game is really cool because I think it's kind of fun to be able to, I don't know, share that experience with friends if you have them, you know? So...
Yeah, I think I'd prefer that, like to play some sort of scary game or zombie game with friends. Then I'll be fine.
You'll just have to hear Julian freaking out over the mic every so often. But it's fine. Oh, definitely. All right. Well, happy Halloween, everybody, if you celebrate it. I know we do actually have a pretty decent listenership in the US, so... I hope you guys have a lovely Halloween, or had a lovely Halloween. And I would love to do Halloween one year. I'd love to go to America for Halloween. I think that'd be really cool. So, but not this year, that's for sure. All right, cool. Well, keeping it into spooky-ish, sort of, not really, kind of, a very tenuous spooky link. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is, so I read about this, I think only yesterday or the day before. And this kind of grinds my gears because you all know that I am not a fan of console exclusivity. I think it's stupid and I hate it. And I think it does more like to hurt consumers than anything. Anyway, so I recently read that there's a new COD game coming out. I think it's like 2 weeks.
What? Really?
I know. It's a bit unheard of. Just like, Easter and Christmas, a new COD game comes around every year. And this one has once again found a way to keep things exclusive. So the new Black Ops Zombies, not all of it, I think it's just a mode. So they're introducing a new mode. And that mode is only going to be exclusive to PlayStation. Now, I think they've done this before with other modes in the past, which is, I guess is their prerogative. They have got a really cushy deal with Sony, and they like to look after their Sony overlords. But the thing that pissed me off, and I'm not sure if this was what it was in the past with the past deals they had. Like, I know they had a deal with Modern Warfare 2 when the remaster of that came out. It was exclusive to PlayStation for a month before it came anywhere else, which annoyed me because that's my favorite COD game. But it was fine, I just waited. Anyway, so this new Zombies mode is going to be exclusive to PlayStation for a whole year, which I think is so dumb because there's going to be a new COD game when this mode becomes available to everybody else, and no one's going to be playing this freaking Zombies mode anymore. So basically, they've just made it an exclusive mode for PlayStation. Like, that's basically what it is. Like, they may as well have just said an exclusive PlayStation only mode because no one's going to wait a year to play this mode. Like, it's just, it's not going to happen. So, Basically, how do you guys feel about this mode? This concept of having an entire mode console locked? Do you think it's, well, hey, it's a viable idea, it might get people to buy a PlayStation? Or do you think that it's a bit of a dick move and that it's not cool and that Sony need to just chill the heck out and just let people enjoy things everywhere instead of on their consoles?
So, reading through what the mode is, it sounds really shit, and it sounds it honestly it sounds like
Nick's argument.
It sounds like someone thought of this idea in about 5 minutes, like before a meeting, where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, like what's our exclusive content? And the guy's like, oh my god. So he quickly, like 5 minutes, just like wrote something on a piece of paper, and he's like, yeah, here we go.
Done.
Yeah, it honestly sounds lazy. So it's like it's zombies mode, but you play on normal multiplayer maps, not even any special zombies maps or any exclusive maps. It's just your regular multiplayer maps. And you got to stay within a certain boundary of a glowing ball and kill hordes of zombies that come at you. So it's like, it's super lazy, super boring. And the only reason it exists is because they have a deal with Sony where they have to deliver some sort of exclusive content.
Yeah.
Back in the day when, Microsoft got all the COD exclusives, it was DLC, which you'd get like a month before all the PlayStation guys. But they stopped doing like map DLCs and things because it dilutes your player base and then ends up killing it sooner, which I don't really think matters for COD because every year a new one comes out anyway. So how much of your player base can you honestly lose? But yeah, that's the only reason this exists, because now they're like, okay, we can't do map DLC. We got to do something else. Oh, I know, a new game mode. Oh, but we can't make it too good because like people get a bit too angry. So we'll just quickly whip up like something and then just release it, and that'll be that. So in the general scheme of things, yes, exclusive game modes suck. In this context, it doesn't matter because people are going to play this for about 2 minutes and then turn it off and never touch it again.
Fair.
There you go.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, it's just the same conversation as usual. I think it just comes down to money, and it's just a deal that they have.
Of course.
I mean, there's probably some sort of metric behind it that they know on their end as to why they do it, because it doesn't really make sense from our perspective, but because you said, no one's going to buy a fucking PlayStation for this.
Yeah, no one's going to look at this and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to change my Xbox pre-order to a PlayStation one because I want this thing where I have to stay within a glowing orb and then shoot zombies instead of just shooting zombies normally.
I guess it's like a brand thing, because it's like they're saying it's exclusive to Sony. Like most people probably wouldn't look deep into it and be like, okay, so it's this specific mode. They'll be like, oh, it's better on Sony.
Yeah, it'll just be like exclusive.
My son loves COD. I should get him a Sony, or something like that.
Maybe. Yeah, true. Because it feels like the mode itself isn't it's not going to bring anyone over. So it's like, what is the point of this other than just the clout to just be like, we have a thing that the other ones don't have.
Yeah, it's like the Modern Warfare exclusive. That was at least kind of cool. Because Spec Ops was fun to play back in the day. But yeah, this one just sounds shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's COD, so it's shit anyway, right?
No, I mean, this sounds like a really lazy, just garbage game mode that was implemented. Yeah. It honestly feels like someone just thought of it in 5 minutes and just put it in there.
Well, it's just a typical zombie game mode. It's a typical thing.
Yeah, but they could at least be exclusive zombie maps or something, or find a way to work it somehow into zombie lore or something like that. If you want to make it really exclusive, if you really wanted to annoy people, put some of the mainstream COD zombies lore into this. So it's oh, you want to know the story behind zombies? Oh, well, you got to play it on PlayStation if you want to know. But all they did is they made a crappy horde mode, and they're like, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
It's worthless. No one's going to play it.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it weird.
Sorry.
That's right.
I think the only COD zombie game I played was the Black Ops 4. We played it at PAX, not last year before it would have been. And that was big for a month, and then it wasn't. Everyone forgot about it. It wasn't that big. But it was pretty fun to play with people. To play with 4, I think it was a team of 4 or 5 or something.
I think it's 4,
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know why they would decide to do like I don't know. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of exclusivity. If they were going to do a deal for Sony, why not do like you get special extra skins or something like that, like just something that doesn't, that isn't that
affects the
exciting.
actual gameplay.
Yeah, like just some random thing that you get extra, whatever, if you have to do something. But for me, I also just don't know why they would pick something to do with zombies, because from my gathering, zombies already has a pretty like smaller player base. Like for the amount of people who play COD, there's only going to be a smaller chunk of them that actually are interested in the zombies. So then why make another mode for an already smaller base? Like it just, I don't know. I don't like it, but it's kind of like, if you're going to do it right. Like, why would you do that?
Because it's probably just copy and pasted code from like everything else. You have a multiplayer map, so you don't need to make a brand new map. You have waves of zombies, which already exists in your normal zombie mode. And you have to stay within a certain like radius of an object, which you could probably just modify some code from, domination or whatever
like
objective
yeah,
game modes you have. And there you go. You just kind of like butcher all this together and make sure it works. And it's like, there we go. Brand new game mode. All done. It took about an hour of time. Let's go have some lunch.
It's like a patchwork game mode where they've just pulled things from other places and shoved it all together.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, like, in you guys' opinion, why the year? Like, why a year?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I got caught up on. Because, fine, a month early access. That I'll deal with that. But a year just seems weird.
Sony probably added an extra 0.
I mean, yeah. But then, like, it's not worth it. Sony, you're being ripped off. This is not worth paying extra for.
I don't really think Sony cares.
Maybe it was a case of, like, one party wanted it to be, I guess Sony wanted it to just be a pure exclusive.
Yeah.
And then the other guys were like, we can't do that, but we can do this, which is basically the same thing. I don't know. Yeah,
maybe being like, yeah, maybe like the wording of this is going to be a PlayStation only mode they were worried about. So maybe keeping it as, so it's going to, you can play it eventually when we're done with this game, when you don't want to play the game anymore. Like, yeah, maybe it's more of a ploy to like make it seem less like this is a mode we've only designed for PlayStation, maybe.
Or maybe this means no COD next year for the first time in like 15 years.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. That can't happen.
Well, maybe. I think one of the best things the Assassin's Creed franchise did was take a break.
Activision is not going to turn off their money machine.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
it is Activision.
Considering they're not doing that well, fair.
Yeah.
May as well.
So what's probably happened is Sony and Activision they don't sign a new contract every year. They probably signed like a 5 or 10 year contract for Call of Duty exclusives or something like that. And this year Activision was just like, we don't know what to give them. So Treyarch was like, all right, look, we'll just cobble together some game mode. How's that? And they're like, yeah, that'll do. We're fine. All good.
And
so I don't think they went to Sony and they're like, all right, here's our plan for exclusive content. And instead it was like, okay, yes, now we'll sign the contract. This was probably signed like a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Nick's just a fly on the wall in that.
Yeah. I was like, that was an accurate representation of what that entire conversation was. Yes. You have the leaked footage.
Yep. It was just like 3 guys in a room.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, here's our rough idea. It was like 3 dot points on a piece of like lined A4 paper. And Sony just rubber stamp and all right, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's
fair enough.
Strange. Have they said anything about a new COD for next year? I haven't really heard anything. But
well, I mean, this one doesn't even come out, Julian. So let's not, let's not get too eager.
Down, Julian. Right.
But no, there'll be a new
Cold
one.
War's come out.
Cold War's not out yet. The beta was out.
Yeah, it's beta. Yeah.
It'll be out, and then wait like 4 or 5 months, and there'll be chats of the new one, and everyone will jump on it and be like, "This is the worst thing ever made," but I'm still gonna put $80 down for it because I want to play it.
But sorry. To go back to what we were talking about, I've been watching people play it, and I was contemplating on buying it, but now I don't want to buy it.
We talked you out of it. We're good at doing that.
I've watched people play it, and I'm not that interested in it. So
yeah.
I think there's an update for Warzone anyway, so just play for free.
That'll take you 3 days to download anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I already got that game.
Yeah.
I haven't updated it for like weeks. I'm
Ugh.
not going to.
Warzone. Ugh.
I think I uninstalled it about 4 months ago. So I, if I ever tried to reinstall it again, I'd have to leave my PC on overnight. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's so dumb.
Yeah. I'm scared to uninstall it just in case I need it.
The commitment to uninstall it is too great.
It's fine now because now you can just download like whatever section of the game you want. You don't have to download the entire game.
Why was it not like that the whole time?
Look,
You know?
Infinity Ward, great developers on their end, or Blizzard, whoever was responsible for it. It only took them a year
To figure that out.
to figure it out. Yes, only took a year. Like,
It's so
fantastic.
frustrating.
Yes, now you can download our game in parts just as the new game comes out, so it only makes sense.
It makes no sense to have like a free mode in a game and then force you to download all the modes that you can't use. Like, it's so dumb.
I mean, it
Yep.
is free though. I mean, we shouldn't complain.
Well, Justin, remember, if something is free, then it means that you are the product or whatever. So
Yeah. And then you have to buy more SSDs or hard drives.
exactly, right? Maybe there's like a secret backdoor deal with SSDs.
If you have a
HD
strong
makers.
willpower, the free to play algorithm doesn't work on you. Okay,
That's true.
you don't buy the loot boxes. You
Don't
just
do it.
get all the benefits.
Don't buy the loot boxes. Never. Just lower your expectations. You don't need that skin. You really don't. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't make
secret-
you
See
cool.
it.
The secret
You're
is
first person.
Tell that to Jono.
just be poor, and then you can't afford the loot boxes. It's even better.
Yeah, but Nick, what if you aren't poor? Then you can spend all the money on the loot boxes, and then you are poor, but then you also have loot boxes.
Well, I have a solution to that. Actually, you can
Right.
donate to me, and then you can be
Right.
poor.
Right. There you go. Nick's PayPal link will be in the description. Feel free to go there
Yep.
and donate to Nick.
I'll put my BSB and account number in there as well, just in case you don't have PayPal.
If you need help to deal with your loot box addiction, Nick is here to help you out.
Just a helpful guy.
Just so altruistic. Not a selfish bone in your body at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
3 payments of $5.99.
Just give me all your money, and then you won't be tempted to buy loot boxes.
There you go. It's the easiest way. Same thing, like just deal with all your problems that way. It's fine. That's it. All right. Well, on that cheery note, I guess we'll wrap up the podcast for this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to have you guys on.
No problem.
Thanks for being here, having a chat. Remember, if you haven't already, to check us out on the Thermal Take accounts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Discord server which you could join. Please do. The links to all for these will be somewhere around, either in the description or somewhere to the left or right of the screen. Join our Discord server, the TTANZ community server. We do lots of cool stuff on there, and you can suggest topics for us to talk about for the next podcast, which I would really appreciate. I think actually next podcast, I could be wrong. I know next podcast is a really cool podcast. We actually have a special guest for our next one, I'm pretty sure. So look forward to that. It's going to be really cool, very informative, and we're definitely going to look for you guys to send us some questions to ask our mystery special guest. So I would really appreciate you doing that. Also check us out on YouTube. You might be listening to, you're watching this on YouTube right now. If so, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like. We'd really appreciate it. And I think that's it. Is there anything else?
Not that I'm aware
Did I
of.
forget anything? Did I do good?
Oh, yeah, I think you did all right.
I didn't even know we're going to have a special guest. What is this?
We are having Jillian doesn't even know the special guest. Well, it's a surprise for Jillian as well. So yeah, you'll have to wait until the next episode to find out.
Damn it.
All right. All right. Take care, everyone. Stay safe out there. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you next podcast.
See
Bye,
ya.
everyone. Thank you you so much for sticking around all the way to the end. We do hope you enjoyed this episode of Thermal Talk. If you want to join in the discussion or maybe even submit a topic for us to talk about in future, make sure to jump over to our Discord. We also do weekly giveaways there as well. Remember also that these video podcasts are available audio a week earlier. So jump over to our Spotify, SoundCloud, or Apple Podcasts to listen earlier. And we'll catch you on the next one.